All right, I do believe we are going live on YouTube. This is On the Hunt, episode 44 tonight, believe it or not. As Bobby Bless would say, the Rodrigo episode tonight for the On the Hunt podcast. We've got all the fellas here tonight. 3 fellas are on the screen right now. Now we got 4. See, now I feel better. We got 4 boxes. We got 4 gentlemen, 44. It's all about the 4s tonight. Hey, we want to say a good evening to first Mr. Reggie Funches. Reggie, how's it going?
Slow motion, brother.
I'm like a waitress. I always catch people like mid meal or whatever. Nate Rucker, how's it going?
Oh man, it's a great day, man. Blessing to be here, blessing to do this with y'all. I'm good.
Bobby Bless, how's it going, my friend?
Man, I'm on top of the world, man. I'm doing better than the Lions did on Saturday. I know that damn much. But other than that, I'm here.
Well, hey, I am happy to be here with all the fellas. I did not see the game this weekend because we were actually doing a studio barbecue. So I was hanging out with other folks from our studio, eating good food, playing Mario Kart, getting my ass kicked, but we're not going to talk about that. Just like we're not going to be talking about Super Bowl 52 champion, the meanest handoff in the league, Nate Sudfeld. We're not going to be talking about him tonight because I feel like if we do, Nate Rucker might leave. That's right.
But don't just say Nate. Say the whole thing because we cannot offend our boy.
We have to make sure people know what's going on because, unfortunately, and I hate saying this about the guy, but he's still on the team. I don't understand what's going on with that, but I am sad to see that Adrian Martinez did not get to play at all. But let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater because we talked about him on last week's episode a little bit. So, Nate, we'll start with you, my friend. You were live in person. You said there was something funny happening with Teddy Bridgewater every time he came on the field, right?
Yeah, well, his number right now, he's got number 50, which is ironically an offensive lineman's number. So anytime, you have an extra lineman, you have to report eligible. So this time, every time Teddy Bridgewater stepped on the field for the offense, it was number 50 is the quarterback announced through all the 4 field. And it was just like, why do they keep announcing him? Because he's got a big guy number on his back. So that was that, man. But it just wasn't a good day for this team. I mean, again, they out there playing with 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string, and security guards. So it just is what it is. It just is what it is. So people don't panic. It's only preseason. Don't panic.
So what you're saying is that it looked like a vocational school out there. You got the plumbers, the HVAC, everybody else.
Man, I'm telling you, it was a skilled trades day.
Certificate bowl. The certificate bowl, huh?
Right.
The certificate bowl.
Sudfeld out there was looking like a damn pipe fitter because he was out there just getting rammed on because he was just terrible.
Listen, we're gonna start a swear jar, but it's not gonna be for swearing. Pipe fitter. It's not gonna be for swearing. It's gonna be for anybody mentioning the quarterback who shall not be named on this show anymore.
Oh,
watch out!
Oh, you don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah,
you don't fill that jar up.
Because I can think of other names.
I would have filled that jar up last week because I thought that was it. I thought we were done talking about him. Then all of a sudden he went out there and went 9 for 18. Putting out that Super Bowl champion experience. I can't believe that. Out of all the quarterbacks we have on the roster, he's the only one with a ring.
Man, listen. I thought they turned to AC on when every time he threw the ball deep because that mud would just be floating in the air. I said, man, is he catching the wind tunnel or something? Because it was, man, dog. Oh my God, man, he's so bad. He's just bad.
And it's not often that you see a movie get 3 reboots. But if they ever decide to do a Longest Yard Part 3, he should play Paul Kruger. Or Paul Crew, I should say. Because he looks he every time he's out there.
If he ever think he played Paul Crew, he need to wake up from his dream and apologize. He ain't even that good. No.
Right.
That's an
Team
insult to
machine.
compare them.
Team machine. Anyway, hey, so we got a lot to talk about that does not have to do with the meanest handoff in the league.
He'll be playing what's the dude's name? He was like a back freckle. That's what he'll be playing.
Oh man, I can't. Brucey's time.
Brucey. Yeah, that too Sudfeld would play.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Hey, so shouldn't have had that popcorn. Anyway, let's talk about some of the other players, obviously, on our team and some players on other teams that are getting a lot of talk right now.
Come on, give me my kiss.
We'll start the show off by talking about Jonathan Taylor.
Look like.
So Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts, obviously he's been given permission to seek a trade. And I'm just curious what the fellas think, because I talked about it a little bit on my radio show this morning here in practically South Canada. And what I was saying was that every GM, no matter what their running back room consists of, is at the very least doing their homework on this thing, because it is Jonathan Taylor and he is a very, very talented running back. But I'm wondering, should the Lions even consider trying to add Jonathan Taylor to what we have in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery? Or do you think we should stay away from this thing? Let's start with Bobby Bless, because he is a 24-year-old running back. Bobby,
no. And it's typical with us smart folks. I consider myself one, actually. But honestly, you can't be so smart that you don't even let your first move play out. We got to even see these guys play. We don't even know what we got yet, because we ain't really seen it. So before I get to adding or really subtracting to the group, I want to see what we got first, because a lot of times if you always want something different, you never really give what you got a chance to really work for you. And we already invested in the project, so why invest in more of a project before we even have to? And nothing against Jonathan Taylor, and as far as us acquiring, but this just to speak on the Jonathan Taylor situation up front, I don't blame him for asking for a trade. I know, Elijah, I know you keep up with those damn current events, but I'm pretty sure you heard the comments Jim Irsay said about how if the NFL, if I was to die tomorrow and he would not be out the NFL, that he sounded like he basically said, I'm not gonna pay you no matter what. So it's only right, not fair. It's only right for the coach to even give this guy a chance to talk to somebody else, being that the owner took such a hardcore stance about it, Elijah. That's pretty much what I feel. No on him, because we ain't got enough room. I don't know what we got yet. And Jonathan Taylor, I hope you get out of there as soon as possible, because it don't look like they want you there anyway, brother. And the Colts are known for getting rid of running backs even when they good. So it's not a good history with that, because they did the same thing with Marshall Faulk. And if I'm not mistaken, what's my guy that Edgerrin James? They got rid of him at his peak of his career.
Marshall Faulk, James, Marlon Mack.
So with the history of what the coach do with the running backs when they're good, and on top of that, Jim Irsay basically doubled down on I ain't paying you. Get to cash, boy. Leave. That's pretty much it for me with that one, Elijah.
Okay, so I do want to let the fellas know I got two questions on Jonathan Taylor tonight. One is, do we go after him? I'll tell you what the second one is in a second, but I want to give everybody a chance to answer the first question. I will say, like Bobby, I'm on Jonathan Taylor's side on this one. Like, I feel like Jim Irsay's suits come with no pockets because he spends all day out of pocket. That's just how I feel about it. But
Elijah,
hey, that's a good one. That's a good one, Bobby Black.
That was good. All
right, so let's go over to Nate Rucker. Nate Rucker, the first question I got for you on Jonathan Taylor: do we go after him?
Nope.
Why not?
I mean, it ain't not because he's not talented or that
from Wisconsin, a Big Ten team that ain't been games.
Very good running back. One of the when he was coming out, I was conflicted between him and DeAndre Swift, on who the Lions should take. But it was only due to the fact that Wisconsin runs their running backs into the ground. But that was, the main reason. But he's right, man. I mean, dude, you don't have to tell me. It's that new stance. Hey, tell me you don't want me by not saying you don't want me. And this is what you got out of Irsay. You know what I mean? He had that good old boy tone and good old boy comment. It is what it is. But hey, man, Jonathan Taylor, man, go get what you're gonna get. Because again, like I said, the running back, man, they doing these running backs like cars when they leave the dealership. They depreciate in value as soon as they get drafted. And
That
it's
is
like,
so true.
dude, y'all doing these guys so bold, and it's outrageous that the way I've never seen a position go from highly touted to being like run of the mill. Like it's crazy that running backs are not at the top of the food chain. It's crazy. But that's my take on it, man. Get out of there.
Oh man, you know it's bad when he starts going musical on the episode. Episode 44, the musical. Anyway, let's go over to Reggie Funches. Reggie, same question for you, my friend. Jonathan Taylor, do we go after him? Is this worth a look?
No.
Okay, why not?
Now, it's quite a few different factors. One, what do you give up to get him? They gonna want first, second, something like that for him. They didn't want to just give him away. Ain't no point in us giving that up. Two, he gonna want a new contract. They don't need cashing out on another running back. Three, word on the block, David Montgomery and Gibbs was giving both the Giants and Jacksonville fits during these training camps. So I'd rather just see what we got in those two guys. Basically, Montgomery's still young. Of course, Gibbs is young. Just figure out what's going on there first. And it just don't make sense to spend assets and stuff on a guy that, we could possibly get the same production out of the two guys that we have. Now, am I on Jonathan Taylor's side? Absolutely. Irsay has fumbled the bag on many occasions when it comes to his top players on his team. And
unless your name Peyton Manning.
I think even with Peyton, he's still messed up.
Curb. He kicked his ass to the curb.
But
his neck was no
to his
good.
credit, Peyton was like, we ain't gonna sit here and act like Peyton was at the top of his game. He wouldn't have did nothing. Remember, that Denver Broncos defense saved him. That's why he got that Super Bowl. So,
but I will say it was they dismissed him unceremoniously. Yeah. Like he wasn't. Shit. It was real disrespectful the way they let him go.
I mean,
like you do that. Listen, you do that to Eli Manning, not Peyton Manning. Come on now.
No. See, listen. Ooh, Elijah, I can't stand you someday. But
we all know that Giants fans didn't start loving Eli Manning until after he was gone. Then they're like, "Oh, we love you, Eli." No, you don't. You kept calling him stupid and all this other thing. Anyway, Reggie, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And just as a heads up, the first 2 years in Denver, he was cold. Let's not disrespect what Peyton Manning did when he got over there. Like 46, 59, throwing 37 touchdowns. Then backed it up. Then backed it up with 5,400 yards and 55
Julian
touchdowns.
Thomas.
Let's not act like he was.
And then the microchip broke that they installed, and then he became. Anyway.
No. Let's be even clear on that. He had his best year of his career in Denver, not in Indiana. So Irsay fumble in the bag again. My eyes. But with a guy like that, man, I wanted to say something else, but it might not be PG for our show, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But dudes like that, they just none but
You
How
just
they
use the term "good old boy." There you go. That's how you use that.
good
I mean,
old
we
boy.
can call it what it is. He's racist.
No,
I'll say it.
You, I
I'll
don't
say
think
it.
you
I don't
want me
care if
calling
people
it.
get
I
mad
don't
at
think you
me.
want me
Like,
calling it what it is.
no, we're not even going that route.
Nope. I'm gonna leave it alone.
all right. I have no problem saying it because I see it for what it is, but that's just me. So second question. All right, second question. This is a two-parter here. We'll start with Bobby once again. If we aren't going for him, who do you think might go for him? And the second part of this question, is this even a legitimate trade situation, or is this going to be like Lamar Jackson, where there's a holdout and it keeps going on and on forever until he ends up staying with the Colts? Bobby, what do you think?
I didn't really what when you think about getting a running back of his caliber, and then it's a couple scenarios. Does he want a new contract? Is when he comes, that kind of thing. That's one thing about it. And number two, what you gave up, like Reggie had mentioned earlier. So if I'm a team at the fringe of the Super Bowl or in Super Bowl contention, I would get Jonathan Taylor. So the question is asked, who you think is almost one or two players away from being the championship contender? And the teams, it's two teams that come to my mind. Number one, we just played them, Jacksonville Jaguars. But we all know they ain't gonna trade in their division. I hope not. So that I would love to see him on net with Trevor Lawrence.
They like ATN though.
They love ATN. Yeah.
They love ATN.
Yeah, but that's why
yeah.
but for a two-head system for 1 year, I don't know. I love them both, but and the second one to come to my mind would be, actually, believe it or not, Seattle. If they had a two-head punch and let Geno make well-timed throws as he personally capable, another top running back along with Walker, I think that would be a pretty formidable, being that they be mostly run oriented. And if you believe it or not, when Seattle did win the Super Bowl, they were more run oriented. They had timely passing, and they'd be more of a run team, lead on your defense. And to be honest, that would probably take to beat the 49ers is a good run game, and he'll definitely add that. So them the two that stick off to my mind. But other than that, maybe the Broncos. But yeah, I think I would go for him. But the question is, do you want that running back problem? Because it's coming to look like every time a running back wants some money, it's a problem. So you got to remember you're adding that problem to your team too. So it's just interesting. So those my teams, Elijah. That's pretty much my thought, though.
So I'm gonna go next, and I'm gonna toss it to Nate and Reggie because for some reason all the time, and we don't practice this, but Reggie and I, Nate and I, and a lot of times Bobby and I always think of the same teams. So that's why I want to go first. Okay. So I got 4 potential landing spots. That is, of course,
4.
Assuming
the same team and then say 4.
Because I guarantee you guys are going to be like, yep, that's the team I was going to say. All right. But I got 4 landing spots, but this is all dependent on, are the Colts for real about letting this guy find a trade partner? Because
I want to say mine
I don't see anybody being like, okay, I'm going to give you 2 first-round picks for Jonathan Taylor. Because you guys know how it is. Sometimes teams.
Okay. Well, only say 2 teams then. Don't say 4.
I got 4. But my point is,
if you got 4, I get to say my 1.
All right, but I'm gonna say my 4 first. I'm gonna say my 4 first because I want to make sure I'm out there first. Anyway, but are the Colts for real about letting this guy get traded? Because sometimes teams will tell you, yeah, you can go have that conversation. The player will find somebody, and then the team will have some ungodly expectation of, trade compensation, and that player ends up getting stuck on a team they don't want to be on. So assuming the Colts are for real about letting him walk, here are my 4 teams. Number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could see the Steelers saying, you know what? Let's go get Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-mm.
Number 2.
I don't see that one.
Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings. Because the Vikings don't really have a number 1 running back right now. I would not say that Alexander Mattison is a number 1 guy. So I could see them going after Jonathan Taylor. That's my second team. So we got Steelers and we got Vikings. My third team,
Buffalo.
the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay's got 2 pretty good running backs right now. They got 2 pretty good running backs. But if you can get rid of, or not get rid of, but I could say, if you want to improve your running back room, go out and get an excellent running back in Jonathan Taylor to help out Jordan Love. Now you got a 3-headed monster. And as long as Jordan Love can manage the handoffs, maybe it won't be so bad. And the 4th team that I have for you, okay, the 4th team that I have for you that I could see him ending up on, the New York Giants. The Giants have got Saquon Barkley on a 1-year deal.
No.
I could see them going out and getting Jonathan Taylor, who is younger than Saquon.
They don't even want to
also
pay
from New
Saquon.
Jersey. Right, but Saquon has an injury history bigger than Jonathan Taylor does.
Still, but it's not the injury. It's the fact that they don't want to pay. They came out and said their statements about running back value.
And the fringe team, the
You got
Chargers.
5 teams?
That's 5. You
The
said
fringe
4.
team,
You
the
said
fringe
4. You
team-
can't have no fringe team.
You can't have a
Yes, I
fringe
can.
team.
fringe team, the Chargers.
Jesus, you done named that.
I'm trying to figure out how I got through that whole list without you naming neither one of the teams I was thinking
Yeah,
about.
me
Hey,
either.
yeah.
That's perfect. That's
I don't
perfect.
agree with none of those.
4 of
picks,
them,
but all right.
4 of them was bad. 4 of them was bad.
All right, so let
All
me
of
toss
them
it
was
over.
bad.
Let me toss it over to Reggie. Reggie, you're gonna go next. I gave you my 4 teams and my fringe team. You can name the rest of the teams in the league if you want.
Golly. I thought you was about to name all the teams in the league.
Right.
So my first team is going to be Miami.
Okay.
Oh, none of their running backs are any good, really, to tell you the truth. Mostert is, he can't stay healthy. What's his name? Wilson. He's just a random dude. So actually adding that to what they have in a wide receiver core is nasty. And if they want to make a run, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, the other team that I was thinking was Buffalo.
They like James Cook too much.
Yeah, but you know what?
They
Cook
didn't
ain't
even go after
Cook ain't
Dalton.
Taylor. Cook ain't Taylor. Cook ain't Taylor. And it actually leads to the other, part of the conversation we're gonna have later on about Diggs. If you want to keep Diggs, want to show him that you really about this life, it makes sense to try to go after Jonathan Taylor and actually make a run for him. So that's my 2 teams.
Okay. Well, I got 4.
Oh God!
Hey, look, 4 in the fringe.
Bobby, what was your other
Friends.
team real quick? Because I'm writing this down. What was you had Seattle, and what was your other one?
Seattle and what was it? Seattle and Jacksonville, but Jacksonville not likely because he in the
Jacksonville. All right.
division.
Well, hey, I'm still writing it down. We'll see who ends up being right. I'm taking receipts. Nate, go ahead.
My first team is
Nate gonna
Carolina.
say the Saints.
Nah, my first team is Carolina.
Woo! All right.
First team is Carolina. My second team is New England.
With Ezekiel Elliott there?
Well, we
Man,
gotta
he
think
ain't,
about
man,
it.
he ain't gonna be
So ain't even starting.
Zeke's going to be a fullback. He's going to be a fullback.
He's gonna be a fullback.
Yeah,
He
we're not
won't
even
start.
worried about Zeke. My third team is the Broncos, and my fourth team is the Bucks.
We
My
got all
friend's
three.
team is Miami. Reggie took it.
All right, so Nate, just to recap, you got Miami, or you got Carolina, New
Yep.
England, Bucks,
Yep.
Miami, and you said another one.
Carolina, Bucks, New England, Broncos,
Broncos.
and my friend's team is the Dolphins.
Now I
Me?
gotta add a
Okay.
third team.
So before we go on to our next subject, which is actually Stephon Diggs and the trade rumors about that, let me recap this for everybody at home. We'll see who ends up being right. This is one of the rare moments in the show where we don't really have a whole lot of carryover between all of our different predictions here. We'll start with Bobby. Bobby's got Jonathan Taylor potentially ending up in Seattle or Jacksonville. Reggie has got Jonathan Taylor ending up with the Dolphins or the Bills. Nate has got Jonathan Taylor ending up with Carolina, New England, Tampa Bay, Miami, or the Broncos. And I have got Jonathan Taylor ending up with the rest of the league and 3 of the CFL team. I'm just kidding. I've got Jonathan Taylor potentially on the Steelers, the Packers, the Giants, the Vikings, or the Chargers. So my question at home for the folks who are watching right now, listen, we don't think the Lions should go out and get Jonathan Taylor. If you disagree with us, let us know in the comments section. If you agree with us, who do you think Jonathan Taylor ends up playing for? Let us know. We greatly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and go on to Stephon Diggs. We're going to start off with Reggie Funches because Reggie, the one thing he wanted for his summer Christmas present was for us to go out and get DeAndre Hopkins, and we didn't.
Me too.
I did.
I wanted that one
I
too.
did.
We was gonna ride share that gift.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, Reggie, I got to ask you, because you were burned once before, are you hoping that we go after Stephon Diggs? And if so, why?
With gusto. With gusto. Like, it's a killer, man. Like you add these guys that, first of all, have immaculate hands, no homo. Like, immaculate hands. Like,
You
that
got to warn me.
that-
I was in the middle of a drink.
that always show up. That are extremely difficult to guard. You know, they got the swag on top of everything else. And the dude, he just delivers, though. Like, you really pay attention to what Stephon Diggs done in the last, was it 4 years he been in Buffalo? 3 years he been in Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
Easily
Top three or
top.
four. This is third or fourth year.
Yeah, he had top 2 or 3 wide receiver over the last 3 or 4 years. So, and then you sit up and think about it. Right now, who we got? Amon-Ra and the hope of Jameson Williams. No, I need somebody else in that wide receiver. I need somebody else. Just makes sense to me. I give him what he wants. What you want? You want a new contract? Here you go. Oh, they want a first round pick? Dish it out. Like, go ahead. I ain't tripping.
Nate, your thoughts?
Well, Diggs is a very, very good player. First, Alante said that he's got Jonathan Taylor to the Cowboys. I don't see that one either, for the simple fact that Tony Pollard's their number 1 back. So I don't see.
But he split carries though,
You
and
know
he coming
what?
off an injury.
You know
That is
what?
a good pick. That's a good one.
You
He's
know
right.
how Jerry
I
get.
mean-
You know how Jerry get.
That's a good
Yeah.
one, Alante.
Tony
So-
Pollard, he might play running back now, but he could play center at the beginning of the season. We saw what happened last year.
Or he could be playing. Or he could be playing a patient and doctor too. Is probably
Right. Nah, but I don't think that the Lions are going to do anything like that. I think
Nah,
they just gonna continue. They're gonna continue to dibble and dabble with low maintenance on the wide receiver end.
I hate that shit though, Nate. That shit scares me to death.
I mean, truthfully, your next year, they're definitely going to have to do another wide receiver in the first or second round. But as far as Stephon Diggs, you got to look at what you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up your first and a second.
Yep.
You know, possibly 2 firsts, a second, and whatever else to get him away from Buffalo. Buffalo knows what his value
Tell
is.
me what you
I
want.
mean, dude is
Tell me what you need.
a very good route runner, speed, hands, tough, you know, across the middle, deep. I mean, you know, he's a very polished wide receiver, you know, and he plays, you know, through the contact. So actually you pairing him with St. Brown and, you know, possibly JMO, that would be, you know, three levels of, you know.
Nasty. 3 levels of nasty. 3 levels nasty.
3 levels to attack from. Plus, you know, Jahmyr
How
Gibbs.
do you want it? How do you feel?
Somebody's feeling a little Magic Mike-ish over there.
Frisky.
So yeah, but that's what I say. But I mean, again, we'll see what Buffalo do. We know what they gave up to get Stephon Diggs. They didn't give up a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see what they want to bring back in to get rid of him. So that's I don't know. Bobby?
I'm a fan of I'm a fan of actually looking to get better at that spot. It don't necessarily have to be Diggs, but you kind of scared me with the damn 2 first round. I don't want all that, give up all that for it. I don't want to give up all that.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna say no. I would love to have him on the team, but just thinking in realistic terms of what we got to give up to get him, I don't think he's worth that. So I'm gonna say no, but I'll call a check. But I'll call and check on Mike Evans though.
No.
Yeah, I would.
Boo. I'll go Chris Godwin.
What I would do.
I would go Chris Godwin before I went
Chris Godwin.
Evans.
And that to do to bust his knee up? No, I don't want him.
No,
Give me Mike Evans.
I'm not taking Chris Godwin over Mike Evans.
I love Chris Godwin. I love Chris Godwin.
But I'm something like that. But you want to see, like we were saying in the meeting, I just had mentioned the phrase the Lamborghini in the trailer park. So we got to look at a good receiver that's in the shit house. You know what I mean? That hate where they at. And I'm pretty sure once he get a load of Baker Mayfield, he gonna come on.
I ain't here for that Baker Mayfield blasphemy now.
But that's it, Elijah. I like Stephon Diggs, but I can't afford him. You know what I mean? I like big mansions and stuff, but I can't afford it. So I'm gonna stick to what in my means. So
I tell you
can't
what,
wait till we play Baker.
I promise you, okay? I promise you, Bobby Bless protects Martha's wallet, okay? Better than Martha does. Like, I can't afford it. We got to find a coupon. If we can't find a coupon, we ain't buying it.
Because, man, they get here, we pay them all that money. They get here and don't do shit, Trey Flowers. So I don't want to like no.
This ain't no Trey Flowers situation.
Right, so real quick though,
I think so. I think so because you got to remember though too. Diggs is he's a half diva, and his diva stuff is the reason why he coming. And if you ain't happy in Buffalo, you ain't no guarantees he gonna be happy in Detroit. So that's my
good wide receiver's a diva.
So let me throw my 2 cents in.
DeAndre ain't no diva.
So first and foremost,
he a gangster diva.
First and foremost, I want to make sure everybody knows about the new product that we have in the studio store. Just went up about 5 minutes ago. Okay, you've been hearing samples of it throughout tonight's episode. All right, there is a new band on the scene. They're called Kittens with Mittens. Their lead singer is Reggie Funches. And they got their first single out now called Frisky. That's right. So you can go buy that soundtrack up in our studio. A beautiful voice there from the bottom of the screen. That's right. Frisky coming to your town. Anyway, so So as far as my opinion on Stephon Diggs, I wouldn't do it. And the reason why I wouldn't do it is because I don't believe that he wants out of Buffalo. Here's the deal. All right. Stephen A. Smith said that he has sources that say Stephon Diggs wants out of Buffalo, that he's not happy there. Stephon Diggs then went out on whatever the hell you want to call Elon Musk's social media app now. I call it Twitter, but he calls it X. I don't know. But basically, Stephon Diggs posted on his own account saying, let me shut that shit down. That's a direct quote. I want to be in Buffalo. So as much as everybody's entertaining the thought, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he is going to retire a Buffalo Bill with Josh Allen. Now, if the Buffalo Bills come out and they, for some reason, don't make the playoffs this year, then you might hear a little something. But as far as right now it's concerned, I'm not even allowing myself to think about it because the player himself is saying it's not true. So this is where you got to kind of weigh, okay, for everybody who loves Stephen A. Smith, and I love Stephen A. Smith, don't get me wrong. You got to wonder, okay, is he starting a story? Maybe he heard a rumor from somebody that knows Stephon Diggs? Or is Stephon Diggs playing the game saying, I really wish Stephen A. didn't say that on me because that's how I feel, but I don't want to rock the boat right now because I don't know where they might send my ass.
Man,
So,
I don't believe Stephen A. I don't believe no
I'm
Stephon Diggs.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
step
believe
out.
Stephon Diggs.
I'm gonna step out of the football realm for a second. Stephen A. just said something about Lonzo Ball. He basically said that I heard a rumor that Lonzo Ball basically can't stand up and sit down inside of a chair because of his injury. Lonzo Ball proceeded to make a video where not only was he getting up and standing and sitting down inside of a chair, he was doing it on one leg with the peace hands like this.
right.
And he basically told Stephen A. to shut up. So,
But like I said, but that's where this rumor
Stephen
all
A. said
started,
he
was
brings
because
it on.
Stephen A. said, I know on good authority that Stephon wants out. And then Stephon said, no, that's not true. And Reggie just gave you an example of Stephen A. kind of getting caught running with something that wasn't true. So y'all got to make
That's
up your
the
own
normal
mind.
though. He always do that. I wouldn't take shit Stephen A. said.
But it ain't Stephen A. We trying to believe Stephon Diggs. This ain't the first time that motherfucker asked to leave a team.
but
He got a
this
track
is the
record.
thing though too. It ain't just leaving a team; it's leaving Josh Allen. You had to go to a better QB on a better team right now in order to justify what you're doing right now. Where you gonna go?
Didn't they just send him home? Didn't they just send him home from practice or something in the training camp or something though?
Okay,
Wasn't there
but
already some bullshit with the what's his name? Diggs?
I don't know.
Though, because I think Bobby's right. But full disclosure, Buffalo has been fighting like every day at camp. Like Josh Allen was trying to do a press conference the other day, and players were fighting like a stone's throw away from him, and he had to do the whole dad yell the hey to get them to stop fighting. So there's a lot of infighting going on right now with Buffalo.
And Josh
That's
Allen and
training
Diggs,
camp,
they were
though.
just arguing on the sideline. Josh Allen and Diggs were just arguing on the sideline last game. So
Oh,
you didn't see
yeah,
that?
he was asked to go home.
Yeah, and then him and Josh Allen was just arguing on the sideline this last game. So it ain't that far believed. Like he want to leave.
And like I said, it sounds like a very interesting, juicy story that we'll have to keep an eye on. But again, for me,
Yeah.
I'm not even allowing myself to think about it until it really becomes a real thing. Because again, right now, Stephen A., who has a long track record of sometimes saying things that get people thinking, because that's his job, after all, is to get people thinking.
But he's right.
He's
90%
definitely a
of the
truth
time,
bender.
though.
But he's
But
also
he's
been
right.
somebody who has been early on things, but not wrong.
Right.
And I think this might be one of those situations where he's early, but he ain't wrong. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But for me, I'm not.
I'm about to find that video
of
of them arguing. I'm about to find that video of them arguing, dude.
Hey,
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
looking at
will
it. They said
say-
he got into it with the coach. Coach saying he wasn't showing up during training camp. He told him to go home for that day. And
No, but they was arguing on the sideline this past weekend. That's what I'm looking for. That was
Okay.
early. That was a month ago.
I
So
was done with Stephen A. when he was talking about Johnny Manziel and what he was going to be and how great he was going to take the league by
Listen.
storm. Man,
I
Him
have
and
my
Skip
own
Bayless
thoughts.
is killing me with
I
that.
got my own thoughts on Johnny Manziel. To
To
me,
tell you the truth,
you know what? I don't want. I
even
don't
the
want to go
guys
the
that
whole
say they
Johnny Manziel
professionals
thing.
at doing that get all that stuff wrong. I don't really trip about stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Weatherman. Weatherman.
speaking
You ain't
on-
lying, Reggie.
But speaking on dudes getting paid and all that other stuff, that's where I kind of draw a line.
Yeah.
mhm.
But for Stephon Diggs, obviously you heard it from the fellas. Some interested, some not. And for me, I'm not even thinking about it until I get more information on it. I will say though that I do agree with the fact that we need more depth at receiver because it's scary. Like it is legitimate. I saw on one of the apps the other day that Amon-Ra went down with an injury, J-Mo went down with an injury, and I'm like, damn, like that's how quickly our season can change. Because and this is nothing against Jared Goff. Do this to any other quarterback in the league, they're gonna have the same problem. Okay. But you take away number 1, number 2, and number 3, there's gonna be a problem as far as him trying to figure out people who are open. So it's just one of those things. And then that's why a lot of people, I was listening to Detroit media, they were talking about how, why haven't the starters played? Well, there's your clue right there. As Bill Engvall would say, there's your sign, okay? If guys are dropping in practice, no, you don't want to play them in preseason and get them hurt. But let's keep it going here. We do have some other subjects to get to. I'm looking.
Hey, but hey, just before we transfer, I'm sending that link to our chat that I was talking about. Like they was getting into an argument, Diggs and Allen, and what's the kid, Gabe Davis. He had to step in between them. They was just arguing on the sideline. So it's not like past the realm of thinking that the dude said he wanted to leave.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about Jack Campbell. I believe Nate wanted to talk about Jack Campbell. You got to see Jack Campbell up close and personal. So what did you think, Nate?
Dude's gonna be something good. He flows to the ball really well. Doesn't get fooled much. Trust his eyes, trust his technique. He brings his body. When he goes to tackle, you're gonna feel it. Like he brings all of that body with him. The whole 6'5", 230, 240, whatever it is coming with it. Block shedding was good. I seen one where they had a pulling guard try to get to the second level. Actually did get to the second level, and Campbell just shucked him out the way. You know, so Jack Campbell, man, is real good right now. Number 3 in PFF among all rookies. But what more can you really ask for, man? You know, hey, you got him at pick number 18. This is what you're hoping for. You're hoping that he takes his that the starting job is there to, you know, for the taking. It's just going to be about who's going to get it. You know, we've seen Malcolm Rodriguez sort of fade to the back a little bit. You know, it's one of those. Elijah, you ever seen a butter rim?
I'm sorry, a butter rim?
Okay, never mind. So you won't even know this. But Bobby Rim, remember when Kyle came back and was like, "Hey, coach," and you know, coach gave him his jersey, and then my man jumped up, was like, "Back of the bus," you know, Bombers, championship. We don't need you. That's how that's how he looking at Malcolm. Like, back of the bus, Malcolm. You better bring it, man, because Jack Campbell right now, not butter rim, above the rim.
Above the rim. Like above.
I don't even listen. I'm not even touching butter rim. I don't even know. No, I'm not
butter rim.
No.
Like the air
what
up
type
there.
of drink is that? Anyway.
No.
That was sweet. That was good. That used to be my favorite movie, Reggie. Air up there.
Hey,
I love butter rim.
The Jimmy Dolan shake and bake.
Yes, sir. Jimmy Dolan, shake and bake.
Right. So yeah, but Jack Campbell, man, he looking real good. He looking real comfortable. Played a lot of snaps. He was all over the field. I was very impressed with him. Very impressed.
So Nate, let me ask you, because I got the privilege of listening to some of the Detroit radio stations over the past couple of days, because you know I like to do my research. And one of the arguments that I heard on the Valenti show which I like to tune in.
I don't listen to that guy.
I know. That's why I'm gonna give you context of what was said. So Jim Costa was on there. I believe it was Jim Costa, if I'm not mistaken. But he was on there talking about, okay, so Jack Campbell plays into the third quarter, I believe it was, of this last game.
Mhm.
Why is that? And why is it that Gibbs and the other young players didn't play at all? And they were trying to make it like this thing of like trying to understand the philosophy of Dan Campbell, which I'm not trying to go there, Nate. That's not what I'm trying to ask you.
I know. I'm just saying that's why I don't listen.
What I'm trying to ask you though, is they know what they have in Anzalone. They know what they have in Rodrigo. They know what they have in Barnes. Could it be that they're playing Jack Campbell so much because he is going to be the one with the green dot against Kansas City?
Interesting.
It's very interesting that they could be, they might want to get him, try to get him up to speed, let him be the head guy right next to Anzalone, truly controlling that defense. He could be, calling the plays. Who knows? But again, it's all about, repetition. And I think the other guys, that they're starters for sure. They're not even worried about it. Like, that's why you ain't seen Gibbs the first game.
Right.
We'll know more when I think the third game, you're going to see more of the first team offense to get those guys, in tune for Kansas City. That's if there is an injury. So if St. Brown, is able to go, they may get him. But I think you're going to see more of the starters in the third game because that is the tune-up. So if you see Jack Campbell starting that third game, then that's going to lead you right into your question. The answer to your question,
Because for me, I'm looking at it now. I want to get Nate, I want to get Bobby and Reggie's opinion on this too. But for me, I'm looking at it going, the answer seems obvious to me because you know what you have in Jack Campbell. I don't think it's a talent issue, but you want to get him time on test. What's the easiest way to get him time on test? Have him in there running the defense against nobody, where all he's really got to think about is communicating with the other players on the field and then being in the right spot. It's easier to do that when you're out there against plumbers and, HVAC folks and things like that, which no hate to any of those industries. I'm just saying, if you want your young rookie player to be able to focus on what's happening, put them out there against some folks that that they can overpower easily, I guess is the easiest way I could say. That's why college teams have that cupcake game at the beginning of the season, so they can work out any final kinks before they move on to the serious schedule. And I feel like that's what's happening here with Jack Campbell. But Reggie, what do you think?
When that kid has that kind of talent and he's showing out, I can see Campbell saying, okay, let me get this kid ramped up and get him ready because we're going to need him. And it might not necessarily be the start, but the kid is going to play a lot. And honestly, to tell you the truth, if he's separating himself in practice, separating himself on the field, sometimes you just can't say no. That's what Rodriguez did last year. Who was really there that was going to stop him from being played? Nobody. Campbell might just be an enhancement of that. So we know the kid got talent. That's not the question.
Right.
And if he's starting to understand the scheme and understand where he's supposed to be, and you see how he was playing yesterday, it looked like he belongs. Situation like that, do what you got to do. Play the kid.
I will say that would be an immense amount of faith. And I think it's faith that's been demonstrated, but I think it would be an immense amount of faith to have Jack Campbell with a green dot going up against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. That's a lot of faith in that kid. I'm not saying he's not up for it.
You may get him to start, but I doubt if he calls the play.
Yeah,
they're not going to put that. Anzalone is that linebacker lead, so they're not going to do that. I'm not even thinking about it. There's no way they would do that.
Because that's what I'm thinking with the amount that they're playing them, is that they're getting ready for that moment. That at some point this season, maybe not the first game, but you're not playing against. He's got the green dot.
No, but you have to look at the caliber of what he's playing against. So he's not getting as many post-snap reads. And pre-snap reads that he's going to have. When you're talking about, there's no way in hell they're going to have him with that green dot trying to deal with Andy Reid. It's no way. That might just get him throughout the league in one game. They're not going to do that.
Okay. Bobby,
get picked apart.
your thoughts on why they're playing Jack Campbell so much, but not playing everybody else as much?
Well, it's Lime. It's preseason. You playing against who else to get him, learning the plays, then against security guards and lawnmower men.
Well, see, that's what I said when you were walked away. That's what I said. I said,
oh, okay.
if you want him to be able to focus on just what is the call, where do I need to be, then you let him play in the third quarter against guys who are not going to be playing in a couple weeks. But let me toss it over to Bobby. Bobby, what are your thoughts on why they're playing Jack Campbell so much, but they're not playing everybody else so much?
Well, I kind of feel like I was kind of going with you guys when y'all was saying that he might be the starter or he might have a green dot. I'm thinking yes and no on that, but I'm thinking more of if something was to happen to Anzalone, he would be that guy. So he might want to be getting his reps at that. I believe that, but I there's no way in hell I think he's getting the green dot against Kansas City. He been doing doing good. Yeah, he been doing good. Don't get me wrong. And he gonna get some clock every game. But to sit to say I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised though if it was to happen. But I don't necessarily think it would be a good idea though. That's the whole issue with that. I don't want to see.
Remember what I said, though. I didn't say they're going to. I said it will be an immense amount of faith that they are putting in him if they put him in that position. That's what I said. But the point of me saying that is I think they're trying to get him ready for his moment. I feel like they drafted him because they feel he's ready to play right now. And they're trying to get him ready for that moment because I think they know that as much as we love Anzalone, because he does show up in games and he does play his heart out for us, there's no doubt about that, he is limited in his ceiling. And I think for Jack Campbell, he's got a higher ceiling than Anzalone does. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know if Nate would agree with that. He is our resident.
It ain't about that, though. It ain't about that, though. It's about if you want
my
Kansas City, you want an experienced guy out there. You don't want no guy he's too premature to be out there against Andy Reid led offensive. Let's say it, guys. He might be the best offensive play designer in NFL history on him. That we don't. I feel like if he was to be out there, he ain't the best man to be out there. And
but again, I'm not saying week one green dot. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they're getting him ready to eventually throughout the course.
No, you said green dot Kansas City. I'm gonna rewind.
You said Kansas City.
No, I said it would be an immense amount of faith shown if they put him as green dot against Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is I think throughout the course of this season, there's going to be a changing of the guard at linebacker where they take the green dot from Anzalone and give it to Campbell.
I don't see that at all.
If the defense is trash can like last year, hell yeah. But if they trended in the right direction, and Anzalone, a healthy Anzalone should always have the green dot for this year. Now, next year is another story. But I'm not putting a healthy Anzalone. No.
The truth, I'm on the mind that whoever's the best one to have the dot should have a dot.
Right.
If he's showing proof that he can do it, and his defense is playing better because of it, do what you got to do.
Maybe
veteran or no veteran.
You got to know that defense too, man. I mean, you could be playing very good singularly, but if you not getting these guys in the proper lineups, making sure there's a lot to it than just calling that play in or giving that play to the defense. You're really, you are in charge, and they're already, if they're saying, hey, if we're looking at it from Elijah's standpoint, they're giving him this green. The only thing you have to worry about right now is where you are supposed to be. then that shows you just how far away he is from truly taking that from Anzalone, because Anzalone is in charge for making sure that you're where you're supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be. I'm calling out the line audibles. I'm pointing out the
1 second this preseason.
the
Ain't played
centers,
1 second preseason.
man. So
Let me
it's
answer
a
a question.
lot to it
Let me ask a
with that
question.
green dot.
Let's
It's a
ask a
lot.
question. When it comes to Anzalone, what would you rate him? Like, if you based off last year, as a play as a play caller for the defense, or a guy the guy that gets everybody where they're supposed to be, and then not just doing that, but also performing his position behind it. What would you rate? What would you rate him?
Out of what?
Now
Out of
that's
100.
my question.
No, actually, I'm gonna say, is he average? Is he good? Or is he great?
Okay, I got you.
Oh no, he's good. He's good because number one, orchestrating a 4-2-5 defense is not easy.
Mhm.
It's not easy at all, and I truly don't think people understand how hard that is and how much room you and this other linebacker have to cover.
Yeah.
So when you see him and he's making these plays behind the line of scrimmage, and he's got guys behind him, and when you see how everybody's dropping back in the zones, when you seeing chip drill interceptions, when you've got, even when we look at Aiden Hutchinson and his interceptions and how he's helping him and helping him with his drops, that's because Alex is filling in his spot. So there's a lot to it. I mean, Anzalone is good. He's not flashy. He's not going to be Roquan. He's not going to be Tremaine Edmonds with just freakishly athletic speed and all that. But what he does in his 4-2-5 defense, I don't think it's maybe 5 other linebackers that can truly do it.
Okay. So I guess for me, and I'll preface what I'm going to say by saying I never watched Jack Campbell at Iowa. Okay. I never watched him at Iowa. All I've ever seen of this kid is the highlights and the way that the coaches talk about him and what he has done in the preseason. Okay. So legitimately, I am no expert when it comes to Jack Campbell. I'm not pretending to be an expert when it comes to Jack Campbell. But if I am to believe what the coaches are saying about this kid and what other people who I respect are saying about this kid, then it leads me to believe that his ceiling is higher than that of an Anzalone. That Anzalone was brought in because he had already had experience with our current defensive coordinator and our coaching staff. And he was a guy who could play the position. And he was also a great locker room guy to help build the foundation of what we now have and what we hopefully will have for a very long time in that locker room. So for me, again, I'm not saying week 1 green dot. What I will say is, if they were to do that, that is a hell of a lot of faith in him. But I do agree with Nate. I agree with Bobby. They're probably not going to do that against Andy Reid or Pat Mahomes. Okay. But throughout the course of this season, I could see them, if what everybody else is saying about this kid is accurate, I could see them eventually make the transition to say, okay, Anzalone, we're going to give this to Jack because we believe that Jack is going to be this guy for the next 10 to 15 years for us.
I agree maybe next year, but I would be surprised if they did it in 1 year when you're taking it away from the guy who ultimately knows this defense in and out. You're talking about a guy who's coming from a 4-3 defense to a 4-2-5 defense. So, I mean, and true enough, I've seen enough. I've watched him at Iowa. I watched, he definitely makes plays, but playing college linebacker is very, very different from NFL linebacker.
And was it even a 4? And this is just me asking because again, I don't know. Was it even a 4-2-5 at Iowa that he was in?
No. They run.
So
They run
he's going to have to learn how to run a completely different defense.
No. They primarily run a 4-3, and then they
Okay.
also run a sub package 4-4.
And that's different. It's not just one less
Oh
person.
no, it's very different.
Very different.
It's very different.
Okay. All right. Like I said, that's the thing about this show is when I don't know, I say I don't know.
Hey, this is what we do.
You know what I mean? And so does everybody else in the show too. But that's why we ask questions, because I'm not out here to be the cheerleader for Jack Campbell. I'm here for what's best for the Detroit Lions. That's what I'm trying to do at the end of the day. But I look at that linebacker position because it is said a lot. I know Bobby would agree with me on this. They always say the linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. And so to me, I feel like when you draft a linebacker, you expect them to take that.
Eventually do that. Yeah.
So that's all.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
But we'll see what happens. But like I said, if you
remember
him with the green dot, that's craziness.
Hey, remember, Jared Davis was a damn good linebacker in Florida.
Right.
They gave his ass that damn green dot, and his ass couldn't find the fucking tunnel.
Right. and that's a great point. And remember, we actually talked about that a few episodes ago. We're like, hang on, everybody's getting all excited. But I thought that would be a much more interesting topic than trying to figure out why Dan Campbell's playing.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know what I like? One thing I think about is the guys that were taken later. And like when we're looking at the guys, like when you're looking at Luke Kuechly's, you're looking at the Brian Urlachers, guys who weren't taken super early.
Zach Thomas, right?
Zach Thomas, guys weren't taken early, but they learn. But also, the NFL is totally different from when those guys are playing. Like when you're talking about elite linebacker play, you talking about the Bobby Wagners, you talking about, oh my God, Fred Warner. We talking about elite linebacker play. Like, I think in order for you to take that from Anzalone in your first year, you have to be elite. You have to prove and show me that, hey, you as a rookie are doing this better than the guy that has been in this league for X amount of time.
Right.
Like, this ain't not just because we think you're going to be good or because we think you have a higher ceiling. You have to already show me what your ceiling is.
Fair point.
One of the most deadliest words in sports is not ceiling, it's potential.
Mm-hmm. Man, you ain't did shit yet.
I get that.
And that's where everybody, now when you think about the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, everybody was talking about how it was a bad pick and the Lions reached and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. After rookie mini camp, after the mandatory camp, after the voluntary camp, now he has the potential to be one of the best, and Marshall Faulk and LaDainian Tomlinson and all these other backs. But at first it was a bad pick. Mm-hmm. But now you get sucked in, and that's where that potential word comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where everything can fall apart.
Do you feel that this is another linebacker question? It wasn't even something that was on our list, and I promise
it really wasn't.
But I think this is a worthy topic. I really do. Mm-hmm. Rodrigo. Mm-hmm. Why does it feel like to me, and again, fellas, if I'm wrong on this, tell me, but why does it feel like to me that everybody has forgotten about Rodrigo from last season? Because I've heard about Barnes, I've heard about Campbell, I've heard about Anzalone this offseason. I have not heard about anybody talking about Rodrigo.
He hasn't gotten any better, though.
Okay, yeah. So you think he's taking a step back then?
I don't
know.
He
ain't
go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah. First, I got two things to say. First of all, that's a lie, because that guy named Bobby Bless made it real about Rodrigo and Derek Barnes' connection. So they ain't caught up with me yet. And secondly, I like what Devin Gardner said, the guy that was doing the commentating.
Nate's friend.
It's not that. Yeah. It's not that Rodrigo not making plays. It's just that we are used to Rodrigo making plays. He doing the same shit. But now we have now we don't have the 6th round guy doing this amazing stuff. Now it's just Rodrigo. He don't have that that 6th round underdog mentality. That part has
It's not that shock effect no more.
Like
exactly.
Amon-Ra.
But no, it's different. Amon-Ra still is exceeding above expectation. Like Amon-Ra is he becoming one of the top receivers in the league. I can't say that about Rodrigo being a linebacker, but I can also say that for a 6th round pick, he's a damn good linebacker. So that alone, just that, nothing against him. It's just that ain't nobody he ain't the hot guy no more. You know what I mean? So he's gonna have to continue to he gonna have to continue to do more of the same in bigger games. You know what I mean? These games right now ain't that big, but if you're looking at the Lions schedule, how many times they on national TV? He's still gonna have his chance to get it all back. He's just not gonna get it all back in preseason with the doing preseason. Don't nobody even really look at it like that, but he ain't got, to me, he ain't got no better or worse. He just literally the same. The only thing is this ain't that 6th round guy that everybody was talking about from Hard Knocks. I think I think Hard Knocks got a lot to do with his popularity too. So without Hard Knocks, you don't really get to see that Rodrigo that's not on the field. You don't get to see the hard-nosed guy working in practice type thing and making plays. You don't hear the coach like, I'm gonna play with my guy was hitting the clicker and stuff, like I'm gonna play the best guy and all that stuff. He ain't getting the accolades no more because he ain't on national TV with it no more. That's why.
But okay, so just and I want to make sure that Nate gets a chance at this too. So Bobby, one of the people that went in the Hall of Fame this year was Zach Thomas. And if I remember correctly, Zach Thomas was like a 6th round pick, if I'm not mistaken. So my question would be, okay, because we talked about this earlier, just to kind of loop it back around. Do you see, well, obviously we're talking about Jack Campbell, we're talking about Anzalone. Do you ever see a moment where Rodrigo might step up and get that green shot in the future?
No, not that, but I will say this, the great Deion Sanders, big time players make big plays in big games. We ain't had no big games yet. And I'm pretty sure his plays will be amped up times 10 if he on primetime football making them plays. So I'll just say, as far as he ain't the preseason unsung hero guy no more.
Right.
And it ain't nothing to do with his attributes or his skills or him stepping back and forth. He just ain't got the same amount of spotlight because the spotlight ain't on the Lions this preseason like it was last preseason.
Nate,
I think
I mean, like the day-to-day details of him getting better and stuff. That's not like
it's not even so much that is the fact of the one that he's not, the plays he made is what oohed and awed people because of his stature and his size. Number one. So when you're looking at the plays that Rodrigo made at 5'10", 5'11", versus a guy who's potentially, and in college has made them at 6'5", covering more ground. You know what it is you're looking at matchup. That's what you're looking at. Like, one of the areas that we know Rodrigo is going to struggle at is going to be covering anybody. That's the bigger thing. Also, Rodrigo is not a vocal leader. He's not vocal. So there's number one, that's the big difference between him and Amon-Ra, is that number one, Amon-Ra is very vocal. He's a leader that leads by his voice and his actions. First one at practice, last one at practice. First one in the film room, standing over in the weight room, things like that. So that's what's separating Amon-Ra already from the wide receivers and things that he has already done in his second year. You know, that was the big thing. Now Rodrigo already is going to have an upward climb because he was a 6th-round pick versus a 1st-round pick. And you're
Okay.
talking about, again, 5'10", 5'11" versus 6'4", 6'5". When you put up their combine numbers, Jack Campbell owns him at the combine numbers. You talk about Prince pressing, you're talking about ability to cover, you're talking about Bobby, our boy Raz's system that now, ironically, everybody uses.
dude. Yeah,
The calculator boy came
Nate,
up.
hey, damn shame what Nate said to that numbers guy, man. Oh man,
But again,
damn shame.
hey, calculator boy had his thing, and people
Oh
used
yeah, he called it calculator boy. Ooh, it was on after that. It was on after that.
but it's just one of those things that, again, he's not the sexy pick. You know what I mean? When you see the linebackers, you're looking at, oh, okay, that's Rodrigo. We know he's gonna hit hard and he's gonna play hard, right?
And
But-
we had sorry linebackers too, man. We was begging for somebody halfway.
And then when you look at it from, okay, Elijah, you've been a coach, being an offensive guy, quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have your offense lined up against? You want your offense lined up against a 6'5", 230-pound guy that can run sideline to sideline, or
Arms
long, all these physical attributes, or you prefer this smaller stature guy, 5'11". Yes, he's going to play hard, he's going to fight through contact, but where's your favorable matchup at? If I've got a tight end,
Yeah.
that's 6'5", I'm not worried about a 5'11" linebacker.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that hard work only beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Mhm.
right.
And that's the same thing what Kelvin Shepard was saying last year. Hey, Rodrigo is outworking y'all. Give me a reason. I want y'all to make me not play him. Why?
Right.
Not because he was super talented. He was just outworking the guys who were out there. He ain't running a 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6 at a linebacker. He just plays extremely hard and through the whistle. And that's what people love. But ironically, that's what that grit word is.
Mm.
So you cannot get overshadowed by that, by the height and physicality, because grit is what all Rodrigo is about.
Right. And again, I just thought I'd bring it up because I know.
No, it's good though.
And-
Very
and
good
hey,
question.
Kudos to Bobby because he has been talking about Rodrigo. I apologize for not remembering that. But I guess what I was saying was when I'm doing research outside of our show, I'm not here.
course.
Yeah.
about it.
And,
I'm not
and,
here.
and that's
Somebody
the
gonna put it
national
up
part.
there tonight.
That-
Somebody, hey, look, we gonna see somebody put up some Rodrigo stuff.
Man,
Yeah.
I've been on Rodrigo, like him and Barnes connection. But I will say this as far as that, I would like to see Jack Campbell and Anzalone out there before I see Anzalone and any of the other guys, though. If that makes sense on the two linebackers.
I want to see Anzalone and Barnes because I like Barnes. Barnes is a better blitzer.
He got better, yeah. He definitely be hitting.
Barnes is a better blitzer. Barnes is very good at setting that edge. I want to see how his pass coverage is. So that's where I think the true importance of Anzalone and what he does is where it's really going to show. Like, you're this leader. I want to see what you can do with this guy. Like, coming out of Purdue, Derek Barnes was a prototypical middle linebacker. Let's see what you can do with a proven veteran who has spearheaded the growth and turnaround of this defense. Because eventually, I would want to have a Derek Barnes and a Jack Campbell as my two. And then we say, thank you, Anzalone, for all your service.
That would be nice.
So
Before we get to my crystal ball prediction, okay, I do want to toss it over to Bobby Bless. We're going to talk video games for a second. So, Bobby, you got the new Madden game. Just give us some brief thoughts on what you thought about it while I look up some stuff.
Man, I like it. I'm not a real good judge because I haven't got the last 10 of them. So I'm going to buy whatever product they selling. So as far as that, I'm not going to get into if this game glitch and all that other stuff. I just, I like it. As far as I can tell, they did a lot of different attempts on making it more realistic, similar to even the offensive lineman able to push the runner forward like in real football, that kind of stuff. So that's something that caught my eye instantly. The Lions playbook looks a little different from last year, so they got rid of a few plays. So that's interesting to see that how Madden watch Ben Johnson real closely, because a lot of those plays that were in there last year that I never see the Lions run, they out of there now. So I like that part. And as far as the gameplay, it is absolutely sweet, and I can't wait till we have our little tournament that co-play where, and that all that means is PlayStation guys are able to play Xbox guys right now. So that alone will make a good tournament, bigger tournament. We don't have to have a tournament for. It's so many ways. I was kind of thinking like we have our own little Super Bowl. We have the winner of the PlayStation conference play the winner of the Xbox conference. Then that way it seems like it'd be easier to make a tournament that way. And then
That
the winner
sounds
of both,
good.
and then the winner of both, and we can play the champions in the Super Bowl kind of thing. Winner from each conference. I think that's pretty a good thing now with the co-op play. And even down to the consolation parts, though, they can all be co-op. You know what I mean? So that is a blessing.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a trophy made. I got a trophy shop right up the street. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a first place on the hunt Madden tournament trophy made, and then we can think about a consolation, prize.
We should call it the Brad Holmes Bowl. We should call it the Brad Holmes Bowl.
Hey, that ain't bad. I like that.
Play.
Yeah, but y'all so damn. But I actually like the game. It's just fun to see just different stuff. I don't play with Pat Mahomes, but even the quarterbacks, they are able to jump pass now. And like in the pocket, just jump and lob it over the line, that kind of stuff. There's buttons now where you can press a button, and you know how, like with the receivers, you got the typical Y or triangle would be the contested catch button, where to make the receiver jump. But now you can press square, where it'll lead the receiver to catch the ball more on the run, kind of thing. So there's a lot of different.
That's that PlayStation crap.
No, it's on Xbox too. It's on Xbox also, sir. Yeah, you got Xbox One. You gotta get a Series X, man. You gotta get with the next gen, the new gen. But anyway, it is good. The stadium, me going to the stadium last year to watch it's the actual stadium. I should have cut my game on if I could show you, but the actual stadium looks so real. Like I can actually see. Like next time we do our virtual tour, let's do it through Madden. It'd be a lot easier. A lot easier to do that. And as far as like with every game that first come out, it's some glitches. So you have to wait for the first update where they fix everything people complaining about. So that'll be coming pretty soon. But as far as me being an avid Madden fan since I've been yay high, you know what I mean? I like the game. But like I also said, I'm not a biased judge when it comes to Detroit Lions or Madden. So me personally, I ain't a good judge, but Bobby's 2 thumbs up, but you gotta have your own preference and stuff. But it's just amazing because Nate being an avid Madden player like us, some people got PlayStation, some people got Xbox, and that's the literal reason why I got both. Because I wanted all the smoke. I want PlayStation smoke. I want Xbox smoke. So, yeah. So all together, man, it's an A. but it makes it obsolete to have both systems. Wow, if you can play each other no matter what, so it's good. It's just good that they finally doing something that people have been asking for years. It's like for 100 years, and I'm kind of wondering, hoping they do it for the college football game that's coming out next year. That'd be even better too. So
I hope so.
it just
I hope so.
yeah,
I'm excited about that one.
yeah, and like I don't do none of the franchise modes and stuff, so I can't really get into all that stuff. I just play against online and play against friends that call me out, and I beat them around and stuff. So other than that, it's a good game, and I can't wait till we have our tournament, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be easy to keep track of what happened. We're gonna be able to. I'm learning. I'm trying to get all the ins and out with that. We're gonna be able to stream matches on our channel, so that's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's easy. I know. I mean, I stream a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my Twitch account and all that type of stuff. So
I'm trying to learn all that. But
yeah, it's easy. It's very easy.
So
I can't wait.
Are y'all ready for my crystal ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I talked about this in the meeting, but I told the fellas I wasn't going to say who it was. I was.
Oh my God! Why you bring that up? I forgot.
Until we got to this moment in the show. All right. Now I will be brief on this. But last year, my crystal ball was that Geno Smith was going to have a resurgence. This time around, I actually want to take us back for a moment to 2021. In fact, the first week of the 2021 college football season, that's where I want to take us back to. Going into that season, the story on a national level was Sam Howell at North Carolina, about how good this kid was and how if he had a really great season, he could end up being the best quarterback of that draft class, which that draft class, if I remember correctly, was not exactly the greatest of all time. No one's going to make a 30 for 30 about that one. But they were talking about this kid is going to be that guy. Okay. He has the opportunity to be that guy.
Yeah, he does, especially.
And then they went up against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, week 1 of the season. And the moment he didn't have a good game, North Carolina was ranked 10th overall in the nation, which you know how those preseason rankings work. They're just like toilet paper. But they ended up losing that game 17-10. He had 1 touchdown. He had 3 interceptions. But the interception that I believe dumped his draft stock was the final one. I think he could have survived if it was just the other 2 and they somehow won the game. People would have forgiven that. But the final interception was the most egregious interception I have ever seen in my life. And for context, my father's a Packers fan, so I saw a lot of interceptions from Brett Favre trying to do hero ball shit that didn't work out, okay?
We got a rocket, though.
This was the king of hero ball, okay? The king of hero ball. Now, I can't show you the clip of it, but I want to give you the scenario at home, all right? It was the final drive of the game.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, man.
It was a 2nd and 7. North Carolina has got 3 timeouts in this situation. About, I want to say, 40 seconds left to go in the game. Again, 3 timeouts. Sam Howell gets the ball, rolls out to the side of the field right next to the sideline. He gets kind of grabbed by a defender and swung around. The only way I can describe it is like when you tried to run away from the ass whooping from your parents. Like it was one of those type of situations where he had 1 arm and he was trying to get away. And instead of just taking the sack,
I think I remember
throwing the ball away, he legitimately had the ball in his hand and without even looking at the receiver, just chucked it over his shoulder. And it got intercepted. Game over. And again, what is a quarterback judged on the most? Your decision-making skills. It's 2nd and 7. You got 3 timeouts, and you just threw the damn game away because you were trying to do some hero ball shit. And the reason why I bring that up is because I feel like, being that was a nationally televised game, that made it where a lot of GMs went, okay, questions about that kid now. Maybe they didn't have questions before that game, but they sure as hell had questions after that game. And I think that hurt his draft stock. Then he goes to the Washington Commanders. And he's still with the Washington Commanders. And last night, he had a pretty good performance, albeit a preseason game. But I just want to throw this out there to folks at home. Ain't nobody talking about the Washington Commanders. I talked about it on my show this morning. And legitimately, an hour after my show this morning, RG3 put out a tweet about it saying, watch out for Sam Howell, because they've got Eric Bieniemy now as their offensive coordinator.
And they crying every time you tell them to do something. I heard that too.
But I think Eric Bieniemy could help make the Washington Commanders a competitive team, a headache this year for folks who aren't expecting them to be. I'm not saying they're going to win that division because you got to go through the Eagles, right? I'm not saying they're going to beat the Cowboys. They might beat Dallas, though. I'm just saying, to me, I'm looking at it going, Sam Howell has got a hell of an opportunity right now to take this job and be what everybody thought he was going to be when he was at North Carolina. Here's his opportunity. Just like Geno had an opportunity last year to take the bull by the horns and get yourself a job. And Sam Howell is going to be the week 1 starter. They've already said that. He's going to be the week 1 starter. So to me, I'm putting everybody on notice, and I'm saying watch out for Eric Bieniemy's offense, because Eric Bieniemy, he doesn't talk about it a lot because he's a gentleman, but he's got a chip on his shoulder because everybody's been that the only reason he was successful is because of Andy Reid. So I think, again, for me personally, watch out for Eric Bieniemy in this offense because they're not half bad. And watch out for Sam Howell. And I just wanted to give the guys quick opinions on that. Bobby Bless, I'll let you go first.
I agree with the Eric Bieniemy part, but also Sam Howell, one of my closest friends is a Commander/Redskins fan. So I'm quite familiar with Howell. But I will also say this, that you saying that they're going to be good is not a hot take at all. Believe it or not, they won 8 games last year. One of their games was a tie, so it ain't really a hot take. But adding Eric Bieniemy to a team that was on the cusp of the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if they took the Giants spot that was in the playoffs or something like that. But they was pretty good in the division. Elijah, believe it or not. They had a better division record in the New York Giants, I'm thinking. So it's not so it's not past the realm of thinking to think that they could actually, be good. So I don't want to. I'm just
saying that national media is not talking about them. They're talking about the Cowboys. That's what I'm.
Yeah, but I'm getting to the shot in the dark Geno. That this ain't that ain't that big of a call.
And this ain't the same.
Yeah, this ain't that big of a margin of being right. They not that sorry. But I would say this. Washington got some weapons, man. I always wonder if they ever can get the quarterback. Yeah. They got nice running backs. They got good receivers. They got a decent line. They got an even good coach. Honestly, I like Rivera. So. So it won't be. I'd be happy for them as long as it ain't for the Lions' demise. But other than that, yeah, I don't want to be going in the last season hoping these motherfuckers win or lose or nothing like that. But
right,
I mean that's gonna be season. But I think Sam Howell. You got Eric Bieniemy. He's a no nonsense dude. Ron Rivera is pretty much he. I don't know about how he is with the quarterbacks. But I know if he was half a bum or half not ready, Eric Bieniemy ain't putting him out there. So I think he's good to go. Just because I'm pretty sure that Eric Bieniemy had all to do with him being named the starter. So I can't wait to see him now. That might be a good fantasy sneaky pick too, Elijah.
And that's kind of why I brought it up, because like I said, for me, I'm looking at it going, all these national media people, ain't nobody talking about the Commanders. And it's like, they weren't horrible last season.
No, they won 8
but
games. They should have won
they
9.
didn't have the quarterback figured out. And I think this guy could be that guy for them, but we'll see. We'll see. Because their backup is strong, by the way.
Good take, but not as good as Gino. You're not gonna run off with that one, brother.
We'll see. Nate Rucker, any thoughts on that briefly before we get to our game?
I mean, Washington, Washington's already got a top 10 defense. I mean, long as everybody stay healthy, depending on what they do with Chase Young. They've got the weapons with McLaurin and Jahan Dobson and Antoine Gibson. So, I mean, they have what they need. It's just about putting it all together. And like hell, I mean, Sam Howell ain't had too much of a threat. Fuck. His damn quarterback competition was Jacoby Brissett. So
and Jake Fromm.
You said, huh?
And Jake Fromm from State Farm.
Yeah, nothing. So it was like, I mean,
State Farm.
I'm thinking what they won 8 games with Taylor Heineke. They won 8 games with Taylor Heineke last year. So it ain't no big thing. My thing is he's going into it, it's going to be finally get the keys to the kingdom. As long as, like you say, man, long as he don't wreck the Lambo, they'll be all right. Like I say, but if he go out there trying to act like this Virginia Tech, then he gonna be driving the fucking school bus.
It has got to be the most egregious interception I have ever seen in my life. Like, even worse than he who shall not be named. Like, I've never seen number 10 do some shit like that. But man,
yes, you have. You just won't admit it. But whatever. You seen
all day.
You seen worse interceptions than that. You in Detroit, you seen worse interceptions, man.
I have not. I have never seen a worse because Nate.
I ain't about to go there, Nate.
Nate had walked away whenever I said this, but I told Bobby, I said the way they had Sam Howell was like whenever you were getting an ass whooping from your parents and you were trying to run away. And he still thought, you know what? Fuck it. Someone's down there. Like, what are we doing?
That's Stafford. We seen that on the regular.
He don't want to say that. He don't want to say that.
So good. We went through an hour and a half without even mentioning that man. Anyway.
Yeah, you got to talk about.
Okay. All right. Well, look, he who shall not be named did that and threw it up to Calvin, and he came down with it with 6 Bengals around him in the end zone.
No. He who shall be not named is not Stafford. We know who he should be named is.
I know. I'm just saying.
Super Bowl champion.
Fucking sucker buck.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that.
He might have to get a job at the sucker buck underneath the overpass. Anyway, so let's get
that boy. I'm telling you, man. His interceptions. His interceptions are just as
Miami
bad.
Dolphins intercepted and stole the ball from Calvin. Wow, but that ain't as bad as doing the 360.
Listen. He who shall not be named shit was worse because he didn't even have no pressure. He just throws the shit way over people's head. At least Sam Howell had pressure and was just trying to make a play. This dummy at 6'6" don't know how to throw the ball down. He throws that. He's what the hell the meteorologists call it? A fucking jet stream. He just throws it.
Hey, them hand signals got me. Them hand signals
jet stream in the league. Anyway, let's go 2-minute drill, fellas, on these games here. We'll go quick. Just because I want to make sure we all get out of here by 8 o'clock, like we usually do.
I gotta eat.
October 22nd. That's so for folks who don't know, we've already covered the first 6 games of the season. We're continuing on. Okay. October 22nd, Detroit's going to be at the Ravens. Bobby, prediction.
Lions, because we owe them, because we almost beat them the last time they came to Ford Field. If I'm not mistaken, if it wasn't for the longest kick in NFL history, we should have won the damn game. So I'm gonna say Lions, brother.
Tell you what, every time I see that kick, I turn off the TV or I turn the channel. Whatever's showing that kick, I can't watch the end of it. It makes me sit in my stomach. I think that we win this game. The one thing that I will say about the Ravens is I think you might see less Lamar Jackson running the ball this year.
That's a good thing. Shit, for us.
Just because I feel like they have the former offensive coordinator from Georgia. So I think you're going to see Lamar under center, and I think you're going to see
Mumpkin.
do a little bit more of a, I hate to say it like this, but more of a pro style generic offense. And oh, by the way, if this was like Madden 2015, their wide receivers would be rated 99 because they got like everybody from Madden 15 on their roster, Odell and all this other stuff. So we'll see if the veteran players, if the senior citizen wide receivers are better than our younger wide receivers. We'll see. And I believe that'll be a game where J-Mo could actually be playing. So that'll be interesting. Nate, your prediction on at the Ravens.
W.
Okay.
Just that simple. W.
October 30th, we got the Raiders. I believe that's a Monday Night Football game. Bobby Bless.
Oh yeah, Monday night. I'm going with the Lions, man. Nothing against the Raiders, man. I just think they did what me and Nate was saying before. You never ever pick a Patriot assistant to be your coach. You don't do it, and they still live. They ain't done getting their whoopings yet. They gonna learn.
Right.
They gonna learn. But no.
Okay, so
Lions.
Nate with the Raiders.
W.
Any thoughts on that game or just W?
W.
W.
Okay. So
They got a Patriots coach, man. The only thing that truthfully I think is going to be the best matchup on that is going to be Penei Sewell versus Max Crosby. That's going to be a great matchup to watch, but W.
So I think that we win that game. I think, however, the big story is going to be either before or after the game, Josh McDaniels getting fired in Las Vegas. I think this is either going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, or he is already going to be gone the week before, and there's going to be an interim in place for this game. Mark my words on that. That's what I'm thinking, because I think he's on a very, very, very short leash, and he's already pissed off their top tier talent in Las Vegas to leave Las Vegas. So I think Jimmy G, I think they brought him in to save the day because Josh McDaniels says that's my dude, but I don't think he's going to save the day. So mark my words, Josh McDaniels is either fired before this game or he's fired after it, but he will not be the Las Vegas Raiders coach. Moving on. Let's see, November 12th at the Chargers. Lots to talk about the Chargers. Bobby, what do you think?
Man, I hate to you say it, man. I don't think I'm gonna get no hat that week because going out west to that damn California coast never has been well for the Lions. They got a good defense. They got some weapons all over the field. No, I not because I don't think they can. It's one of these few things that that Dan Campbell hasn't broken yet. But that damn West Coast trips, we don't never do good. So I have to, before I can say we can, I have to say no until I'm pleasantly proven wrong. So no, I don't know no score.
At the Chargers.
I got that with a loss, but it's just not because of the trip. We're just not ready yet. We don't match up well talent-wise with.
Yeah, they got weapons all over.
With your Chargers,
all over.
Yeah.
They got weapons all over.
Yeah, we still got. We're going to need, some more weapons, especially at wide receiver and things like that before, I think we match up talent-wise across the board with the Chargers. So I'm taking the Chargers on that one.
Okay. So I'm going to keep mine simple. 3 things in life you can count on: death, taxes, and the Chargers not doing what everybody says they're going to do in the preseason. Everybody is always high on the Chargers, and they always let everybody down at the end of the day. They always do, and they will always do that. So for me, I think the Lions whoop that ass. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be an ass whooping in Los Angeles, delivered by your Detroit Lions, which, by the way, according to my calculations in my little pink book that I have here that I write everything down in, I have yet to call a loss for the Lions. So far, I got them with a perfect season as we continue on.
You gonna have to remind me of mine too, though, because I'll be all over the place some days.
November 19th versus the Chicago Money Sign Bears. That's right, because they spent all that money. They even changed their logo to look more like us. If you're looking at any of their preseason games, they're going with blue and white for some reason instead of their orange-looking bear. Bobby, I know you love the Bears. You just want to give them a good old bear hug. So how do you feel about this game?
I predicted I will be eating lunch on November 20th on my boss pocket. I got the Bears. I got the Lions.
Somebody's gonna clip that together. They're gonna say, "I got the Bears," and they're gonna
have to use Photoshop. They're gonna have to use technology. No, I to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised to see how the Bears look in preseason. So they ain't gonna be as bad as I think, but that's like the roach you got to step on 2 times instead of 1. That's all.
Nate Rucker, the Bears. What do you think?
Beat that ass, and David Montgomery scores, has a very, very good game.
Okay. So for me, I'm trying to see what I did here with the Bears previously. Well, this would actually be the first time we've played the Bears this season. So I'm going to say it's going to be a win, but I'm going to go back to what I said a few weeks ago, which was the Bears are going to be a lot better than a lot of people think they are because of who they brought in. I still think we're better than them, but Justin Fields, he's a bad man, like a Stephen A. Smith would say. He is a bad man if you let him get out of the pocket. But I will say the one difference this year, our defense knows how to rally from what I'm seeing. Nate and I both agree on that when somebody breaks containment, we actually get
we got a lot more speed out there too.
A lot quicker.
That secondary gonna light his ass up.
So he might
have Branch following him. Have Branch following him.
He might not be able to get, a full season worth of yards against us on the ground this time. Nice. All right, let's Nate, you talked about the Bears. Bobby, you did too. November 23rd, it's Thanksgiving, and we're going to be thankful for a Lions victory for the first time in a while. The Packers come to town. Bobby Bless, go ahead.
Lions. That's it, Lions.
All right, Lions. All right. Nate.
I can't stand you, Elijah. I'm going to cuss you out later.
Nate, Lions and the Packers.
It's an ass whooping. We beat the hell out of them too. I think, it don't make a difference. Somebody getting fired on their team anyway. So we beat their ass handily. Have a good Thanksgiving. Turkey's extra good. Ham is extra good. Macaroni dressing extra good. Greens extra good. Yeah. By 3:30, I'll be good, full, buzzed, and enjoying that game. That ass whooping.
I hope Walmart closed. Shit. I hope Walmart closed.
So November 23rd, Green Bay. Here's my thoughts on it. As y'all know, if there's one team that I really can't stand, it's the Packers, and that's because it's my father's favorite team. So that's always I won't hear nothing from that guy when it comes to football the entire season. But when the Packers play the Lions, he shows up. So here's my thoughts on it briefly. Jordan Love in college, the knock on him was he throws too many interceptions. And so far in his NFL career, when he's had the opportunity to play, he still throws too many interceptions. He's one of those guys that Nate talked about earlier about the most dangerous word in sports, potential. And I think this season, you're going to see a guy who brings us back to like the rookie days of Peyton Manning, where you got a quarterback who throws 20 touchdowns and 28 interceptions. Like, I think it's going to be bad for them all season long. And I think you're going to see them rely on their running game a lot more. And that's where I think Detroit shuts their ass down. I think it's going to be a great day in Detroit. That's my personal opinion. I got the Lions winning that game. And our final game that we're covering tonight, at the Saints. Let's start with Nate, because Nate's got family in that region. Nate, you going to be bragging to your family members?
Nah, I think we take an L on that one.
Why is that? I'm curious.
I think we take an L. Like, the Saints have a very good defense, and a lot of people.
We in New Orleans too, huh? We in New Orleans
And
too.
we in New Orleans.
Uh,
That Nation. Coming home for Dan Campbell. Jamal Williams, extra amped up. I just think that has all the elements for a major ass whooping. I think that's the one we do that gets us back on track headed towards the playoffs.
Okay. Bobby?
No. Nah, we gonna beat them. No. We gonna beat them. And I see Rodrigo and Jamal Williams get into a fight. I want to see them hit for real. Rodrigo and Jamal Williams. I want to see them go hit. See what. And it's the Jamal Williams Bowl. We can't let him come back and get that W, because you know he the type that gonna be talking shit all week, and he gonna be talking shit all week after. And
I think, but you know what? As long as Chauncey Gardner Jr. play, I think we'll be all right, because he definitely talked some more shit, and he coming home too. So that's why I want to see. Hey, you know, who is this Jamal gonna run over Chauncey, or is Chauncey gonna lay him out? So
hey, I don't want this sassy ass scoring no damn touchdown. Fuck him. I don't. I'm going for the Lions, man. They got to stop Jamal Williams. He's sassy now, Nate. I can be honest.
He was always sassy, but he's more Vidal Sassoon right now. He a little Vidal Sassoon, you know.
Oh my God, that's funny. This
All
shit
right,
right there.
so here's the deal. I have yet to call a Lions loss this season, and I ain't going to start now. I think we are going to win that game against the New Orleans Saints. That's going to put us at 12-0 on the season.
Ooh,
And at
boy,
that
them
point,
hats going to be piled up. Boy.
At this point, you're going to have Bobby Blessed at his local credit union saying, please give me a loan. These hats are getting expensive. And I think that we're going to have ourselves a dandy of a time. Jamal Williams might better decide to be injured that week. That's my personal opinion, because I think he's far more effective for that team.
No. He's going to play that week. If he don't play nothing else.
Listen, I think he would be far more effective that week watching anime somewhere else other than that stadium, because that Lions defense going to shut that ass down, and he's going to be looking over what a real running back looks like in number 26. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, who has always looked up to Alvin Kamara, is going to put on a show with Alvin Kamara in the building. That's what I think is going to happen. And like I said, as of right now, I got the Lions at 12-0 to start this season. And it's my dream. I'll make it as big as I want. Hey,
they gonna kill me. They gonna be on me in Toledo, boy. They ain't gonna be able to deal with me if they 12-0, man. I swear they not.
All right. Hey, it's 8:04. Let's do closing remarks and get out of here. So, Bobby Bless, closing remarks for you, my friend.
Man, nothing, man. You see my guy, man. It's not. I can't say his name. You already said we can't, but I can't wait for that motherfucker. Get out of here. I've been waiting all show just to do that. But anyway, man, it's fun doing that. We getting closer and closer to the preseason. I mean, the end of the regular season. I'm almost ready to buy my YouTube app. So I'm ready. I'm going to be ready. And I'm going to name, full disclosure real quick, Elijah. I'm going to name my fantasy football team Kittens with Mittens. That's going to be the name of my fantasy
with Mittens. That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to have to that's too catchy, man. It's been around. And I remember I told you, but last year, do not say that around Brenda. Kittens with Mittens. So.
Yeah, she ruined our episode with that.
Yeah, you could hear her in the background saying that. Shit, I remember.
Yeah.
But
everybody,
I love you guys, man. That's my closing remark. Yeah, I love you guys. That's my closing remark, man. I just hope the Lions give me something I can reel up because I'm not trying to reel up the game from last week. That was just too damn depressing. I didn't even watch it. You know, the game before the first preseason game, I watched 4 times. This one, I watched half of it, and I think I went to McDonald's at halftime. I was so disappointed.
That shit was trifling.
Yeah, but that's
Nate
it. That's it, brother.
Nate Rucker, closing remarks.
Closing remarks, man. Love y'all. Continue to do what we do. Let's just look out and pay attention and see who's gonna steal some of our topics and thoughts. In about in about 2 or 3 hours, we'll know if somebody else done stole some more of our content.
Bobby Bless said Bobby Bless gave Rodrigo his flowers weeks ago. So I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good to see. Hey, and again, if y'all, if y'all using our topics and all that, just give us a shout out. Throw a hashtag out there for us. That's all you got to do, man, and we won't say shit. So that's my closing remark. Show us some love.
So for my closing remarks, obviously I want to thank the guys for all the hard work they put in week and week out on this show and for the studio in general. I also just want to say that I remember vividly the year after I became a Lions fan when we went 0-16. And I wore my Calvin Johnson jersey. I had one of them black Detroit Lions jerseys, which were sweet to wear. So I
still got mine somewhere.
I was wearing one of those in middle school. I was getting made fun of every single day. I cannot wait until we go 12-0 to start this season. And I get to wear my Lions jersey everywhere. And people are going to be like, man, I wish I could get on that bandwagon. And I get to look at them and say, sorry, it already left the station. That's right.
Oh, my God.
This bandwagon comes with a hooker, so they better be ready.
Ready to party. Anyway, so hey, thank you everybody for tuning in and joining us for this fun edition, this 44th
Good episode, guys. Have fun.
of On the Hunt podcast for the #1 Lions fan, Bobby Bless, for Reggie Funches, for Nate Rucker, and myself, Elijah Winfrey. As we always say, hey, be good to yourself, be good to others.